Israel has always been sensitive to any comparison to the Holocaust.
Since the Holocaust and the genocide of 6 million Jews in the Second World War, we've always said that nothing could ever compare to the Holocaust. And then October 7th happened. Completely different in scale, but not in its efficiency or barbarity or cruelty.
Hamas murdered more than 1,100 people, including women and children, during the October 7th attack.
It was a massacre in which Hamas death squads reduced whole families to the kind of human ash we haven't seen since Auschwitz. People who could only be identified in some cases by dental implants or pieces of bone because they were literally incinerated. It was a massacre conducted with Nazi-like cruelty, Nazi-like efficiency, and in the service of a Nazi-like ideology. The murder of every Jew in this country, every Israeli in this country, and every Jew in the world.
2 months before the October 7th attack, CBN News visited Poland, where around 3.5 million Jews lived before World War II, the largest Jewish community in the world with a 1,000-year history. When the Nazis invaded Poland in 1939, they put into action Operation Reinhard, the code name for the extermination of Polish Jewry. This is the city of Lublin today, but nearly 85 years ago, it was the SS headquarters.
Here, the Nazis, the SS, the Gestapo, the German army had their base, and it was from here that they planned the murder of over 2 million Polish Jews.
David Pileggi is rector of Christ Church in Jerusalem and regularly brings Christians here on tours to show them the vibrancy of Jewish life before the war and the magnitude of the Nazi destruction of the Jewish people.
And one building in particular where bureaucrats and planners sat, where they organized timetables for trains, dispatched killing units from one Jewish village to another Jewish town, either shot the Jews, put them in ghettos, or eventually sent them to one of 3 death camps in this part of Poland.
The execution-style murders where men, women, and children were shot at close range culminated in a 2-day killing spree. On November 3, 1943, German police and SS guards murdered some 18,000 Jewish prisoners from the Majdanek labor camp and others in the Lublin area and buried them in these grassy pits. It was part of an operation codenamed the Harvest Festival, in which 42,000 Jews were killed in just 2 days. That was the largest Nazi execution ever. Many say it marked the end of 1,000 years of Polish Jewry. Today, Majdanek is a well-preserved testimony to the evil that took place there.
Walking through the barracks, seeing the barbed wire and the watchtowers was absolutely chilling, and definitely brought tears to my eyes, and it was overwhelming. The Jews didn't sign up for war. The Jews were murdered.
Andrew Burkhausen, a recent visitor to Poland, says the scope of the Holocaust was too big to grasp.
When I was at the Majdanek labor camp today, thinking of the 18,000, that's a much smaller number than 6 million. 6 million is, you can't even imagine it. And I tried to imagine the 18,000 and I couldn't even get there. However, by walking through the labor camp and seeing the gas chambers and seeing the physical buildings really allowed me to imagine just one. And that was enough to break me down. And it's really important for people to expose themselves to this history.
Fast forward to October 7th.
And we will now be reflecting on what it means for us that the Nazis are no longer the exclusive, ultimate symbol of evil. Because on October 7th, we came face to face with a force as evil as the Nazis, less successful than the Nazis, but that's only because we stopped them, and we will continue fighting them.
Levy says, unlike the Nazis, Hamas is boasting about what it did.
And all the evidence is out there, and it's out there because Hamas filmed it. Because whereas the Nazis tried to cover up their crimes as the Allies invaded, Hamas proudly recorded everything on its GoPros and sent out the snuff videos on its Telegram channels because that violence gives violent anti-Semites a thrill. And people are denying it.
And Levy says the Jewish people have an advantage now.
We're now no longer stateless and defenseless and alone. We have a state, we have an army, we have allies, and we will continue to fight against the terrorist monsters who would gladly slaughter all of us in the most brutal way imaginable. if given half a chance.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Poland and Jerusalem.